Well, hello and welcome once again to another edition of Hude Hour right here on Hude Network. As always, we are here to bring you developments within the humanitarian and development space. We want to shine a light on efforts being made and also to speak with change makers and advocates on issues bordering on development and humanitarian issues, like I said. As always, I am Maryjane Ugbewe. Welcome once again.
And I am Hannah Mokafe Danis. Hello.
Hello, Hannah. How are you doing today?
Hi, Amadi. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. As always, we want to chat, of course, see what update is on progress so far, and also speak with people who are trying to advocate for solutions and so on. So today, we're also touching, pretty much a sensitive issue as regards to disability and employment. Now, disability affects over 1 billion people worldwide. And for many, it's more than a medical condition. It's about the barriers that society places in the way of equal opportunity, especially in employment.
That is right. Inaccessible buildings, discrimination during hiring, lack of transportation and skills training. These are just some of the challenges persons with disabilities face when trying to earn a living or grow a career.
Today on Hude Hour, we unpack the state of disability and employment access, looking at how inclusive hiring and skills development can unlock potential and create more equitable workspaces for all. Now, first, let's take a look at our headlines. DBI calls for digital inclusion of Nigeria's PWD population. We also have Femina and Omar spearhead workplace diversity. We'll take that and more after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, an estimated 1.3 billion people, that's 1 in 6 of us, experience significant disability, but across the globe, persons with disabilities face health and inequities, that limit their access to education, employment, and a decent quality of life.
Some even die up to 20 years earlier than those without disabilities. They also have twice the risks of developing conditions like depression, diabetes, stroke, and obesity. These inequities are rooted in stigma, exclusion, poverty, and even the health systems themselves, where discriminatory practices and lack of accessibility persist. Inaccessible and unaffordable transportation is 15 times more difficult for persons with disabilities than for others. And without access to mobility, getting to school or work is nearly impossible.
Now, inclusive hiring isn't just the right thing to do, it's smart economics. Empowering persons with disabilities through skills training and job access helps build a stronger, more inclusive society for everyone. And that's why it's time to rethink systems, not people. Breaking barriers in employment starts with making inclusion the norm, not the exception. These and more we'll get into when we take this quick break. Now to our first news item, Nigeria's digital progress risks excluding over 27 million citizens with disabilities unless urgent action is taken. And this was said by David Dasa, the CEO of Digital Bridge Institute, the DBI, speaking at a workshop on digital citizenship for persons with disability hosted by the NCC in Abuja. Dasa urged the federal government to create a national policy to remove systemic digital barriers facing persons with disabilities. He stressed that digital inclusion isn't charity, it's justice. Dasa praised the NCC for its human-centered approach and cited DBI's work with Site Savers to deliver tailored digital skills training for PWDs. Also speaking, Olatokunbo Oyeleye of the NCC called the workshop a platform for learning, planning, and engagement, urging participants to apply the knowledge for community impact. To support learning, the NCC donated 100 digital citizenship books to the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. However, Mr. Ayuba Gufwan, head of the commission, pointed out that blind Nigerians were excluded from planning consultations. He emphasized their full potential to use and contribute to digital technology and called for better representation in future initiatives. The event ended with a joint call to action for government, businesses, and civil society to commit to digital inclusion, ensuring no Nigerian is left behind in the country's digital future. Well, it's interesting there, particularly we see that call to be a call to get more inclusion, especially in the digital spaces. But I think also notice that when those speaking for the blind or visually impaired say that they were not consulted, it shows that even within the spectrum of disability, sometimes people tend to forget or leave aside certain groups within. And it's important to carry everyone along. And again, while this is very important, we're in 2025, and nobody really needs any more convincing about how important the digital space is in a multitude of ways. So while persons with disabilities already face exclusion from physical activities, structural activities, when it comes to the digital space where there is even innovation that brings more people in, it shouldn't be allowed to take roots or to allow to continue. So it's good to ensure that the government policymakers start thinking about how to bring this into whatever policies they make and ensure that if we are going digital or whenever we're on the space, those who have disabilities are not excluded, whether it's use of alt text, voice to speech or speech to voice, and all those things that make lives more bearable and livable for persons with disabilities, I think is worth considering.
Yeah, of course. And I love that it was not just the government who had organized this particular event, but also a civil society group and also a private business had come together to say that the government alone cannot do this kind of thing. If we decide that our profits will not just go into banks or just paying people their wages or their salaries, but we also go in training people. The words of the executive director right there, Mrs. Oyele, shall emphasize on the fact that people who have been trained in this particular workshop should emphasize on learning, on planning, and also they should make impacts in their society. So it's not just about them coming to eat the information, coming to down the information, but as they have gotten it, both people that are in the wheelchair, people with albinism or whatsoever kind of disability types that was present or that was represented at that place, they should take that and go to impact in their community. And even the executive secretary right there who had said that the blind people were excluded in this, it is very important that he made that point, that he made that discovery, but also the people that were present there, they should be able to take that information to the blind community too. So now that we have gotten it, our brothers, our sisters who were not opportuned or who were not invited to this particular event, we can take this information and they can start from that place. So it will not be a case of people with disability helping people with disability, and by so doing, it's spreading across other sectors of the economy and also the society.
Indeed. All right. So we'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll take our next news item. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. We are still talking about disability, and right now we are in Northern Ireland. The Fumean and the Omag Labour Market Partnership has launched an employer-led disability inclusion program to help local businesses build more inclusive workplaces and support job seekers with disabilities or long-term health conditions. Funded by the Department for Communities, the program partners with the NOW Group to equip employers with the tools, resources, and training needed to hire and support diverse talents. Businesses will learn how to implement inclusive hiring, create accessible workplaces, and build staff awareness. The program also offers opportunities for unemployed locals aged 16 to 64 with disabilities. Participants can also earn qualifications in fields like hospitality or customer service and gain work experiences through job placements, helping bridge the gap between unemployment and sustainable careers. Councillor John McGlory welcomed the initiative, highlighting its dual benefits for both employers and job seekers. Niam Thomas from the NOW Group added that the program aims to transform lives by empowering people with learning difficulties and autism to thrive in the workforce. This marks a major step towards building an inclusive, equitable local economy where diverse talent is recognized and supported and also empowered. Now, this is exactly what that executive blind secretary was talking about. He said that the blind people were excluded. But in this particular case, we are seeing that in Ireland, nobody is excluded. Autism, wheelchair users, albinism, whatever kind of disability that you get to have, you're included. Recently, in April specifically, the UN had done a global disability summit where the entire focus was on the fact that people with disabilities have to be able to stop being dependent on people. And this is made possible by skills, by trainings, by schools, by local implementations, by governments, by local businesses, by NGOs, by civil society, and the rest of it. And we're glad to see that Northern Ireland is taking the bold step and doing this, building something called an employment disability-led program where local businesses, so it's not just big businesses or big companies that can come on and do something for the government or for the economy, but whether you're an SME, whether you are a medium enterprise, whatever scale of business that you are able to, harness, you can be able to do something by ensuring that your company and also the people that you employ are disability friendly. So if you're employing somebody who is deaf, it means that somebody in your workforce, somebody in your staff should be able to interpret to that person. If you're employing somebody who is blind, you should have something that can be able to interpret what you are saying or, show the person around without the person having to injure themselves or anything. And there are other countries, not just Northern Ireland, who are doing something amazing at this. We have the Nordic countries, we have the Asian countries, we have US, we have France, and we have other countries, even Nigeria recently with the workforce that we just, the workshop that we just recently read, and they are doing a lot ensuring that people with disabilities do not feel left out or do not feel excluded in everything that is going on. And it's not just about them themselves, or they themselves, but also the environment, the economy. It's been boosted. They are putting in their own quota. They are contributing, and that's a lot. So we look forward to amazing things.
Indeed, and for me, I like how it's employer-driven because employers need to understand what they stand to gain when they, promote inclusion in the workspace. But that's how we will round off this segment. When we get back, we'll be speaking with a guest. She's Maryjane Okeke, an inclusive disability advocate. She will be joining us to do justice to the matter. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hude Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hude Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hude Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Culture connects us beyond borders. It's a bridge between traditions, creativity, and the future.
Culture is alive, shaping identities and communities every day.
Art tells stories of resilience and vision.
Artists blend tradition with innovation.
Cultural preservation creates sustainability and empowerment.
Culture evolves and adapts.
Music and dance unite communities through movement.
And right here, in the heart of our cities, artists and creators are keeping these cultures alive.
On Culture Cove, let's explore,
Celebrate
and preserve the arts and culture that define us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Hude Hour right here on Hude Network. We have been joined now by a guest in the house, an expert on the matter. She's a disability inclusion advocate, talking about Maryjane Okeke. She joins us now to do justice to this issue and let us know the pathway to more inclusion when it comes to employment access for persons with disabilities. Welcome to the program. It's good to have you.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Thanks so
I'm
much
happy
for
to be
coming.
here.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so going straight into it, what would you say are some of the main hindrances to employment for persons with disabilities?
Okay. First of all, is discrimination
Mm.
and stereotyping. A lot of people, as a person with disability, a lot of people, first of all, judge you based on how they see you, not really based on what you can do or deliver. So most times I tend to, as a fashion designer, I tend to have to prove myself that, okay, it's not just disability, I can handle this, I can do this. So most times it'd be like, how's she managing, how's she doing? So this pity thing, you know, first of all, set in, and you're not seeing me, you're seeing the disability. So this discrimination is one huge challenges persons with disability face in their daily lives. And then another one that is very obvious is structural barriers. Okay, imagine I have to come here. Okay, it was easier for me because of my type of disability. So imagine a wheelchair user having to access this building. So immediately she gets down there, she already destabilized, she doesn't know what to do, how to come up and all that. And so imagine this is our workplace. It's not really very easy. So structure is yet to be restructured to accommodate. Usable accommodation is yet to happen in most organizations and buildings. So structure is part of it, and system, the system itself, the organizational system, tend to exclude by the policies they make. Their organization, the system of the policies in the organization tend to exclude persons with disability, because for a person with disability to work in an organization, there has to be reasonable accommodation. Okay, so if these policies are not even captured to what of the things they need to be able to function better, you see, they are already marginalized, and then you need to put some things in place for them to reach their full potentials. So as a wheelchair user, you need to make the building accessible for her to be able to participate fully. And in a sign language, for a deaf person, okay, and imagine if you don't know how to sign and I'm a deaf person. So you have to think of hiring a sign language interpreter, which if our school system have actually captured that from the beginning when we need to learn how to read ABCD and all that. Now start learning how to sign and use sign language as a means of communication. There won't be need for organization hiring sign language interpreter, because as a deaf person, I will just sign because it's a language, So this one of the challenges, the communication barriers as well for deaf people. And I've mentioned structural discrimination, communication barriers, and there are a lot of barriers, but there is capacity building as well. It's one of the, because the society itself is structured in a way to exclude these people. They can't participate fully in a place that they need to develop themselves. Imagine if I, as a wheelchair user, and there's a program going on here that I directly need to improve or do better.
Career.
I can't even come here. The thought of coming here and then people, having to carry me like a bag of rice or something to bring me here, I won't even want to come. So the system is already designed to exclude me, even when my disability is not a disability itself. But because the system is structured a way to make my disability a barrier for me. Because this disability is like interaction between you and your environment. So now I have a disability that have excluded me from participating fully in my society, that I need to function, I need to participate, I need to mingle and be part of it. But it's now designed in a way to exclude me. So these things are part of the challenges persons with disability face daily because of some of these issues I've mentioned, policies, not being inclusive, our school system, our workplace, our environment, our churches, everything is designed to work against persons with disability in one way or the other, based on the type of disability. Disability varies.
Yes.
Okay, so these systems are designed in a way to exclude, even when it ought not to be. If there's if there's available, if there's an access, I wouldn't really need to, be excluded. Like I would want to participate fully. But when it's already designed to, limit me, I might want to exclude myself.
Yeah.
And then because there's no reasonable accommodation to accommodate, to make me feel welcomed and part of the society.
Nobody wants to ever feel unwelcome.
Exactly. And having to struggle to fit in, struggling to fit in is not easy. It's mentally draining, struggling to fit in every day.
I'm so sorry about that. So, I guess you've already sort of broken it down, and then it also goes to how inclusive the job recruitment process is in Nigeria. Is that so? But what are recommendations that you could make to change all of this? Like, we're seeing the problems. What are the possible solutions?
Okay. There could be flexible work arrangements, like remote work, and then part-time work too can actually help. Okay, because it's obvious the cost of creating a reasonable accommodation is high, and most organizations don't really have the capacity to do that. So if they can actually make the work flexible in a way that I can work from home where I'm comfortable and send in my reports and come once in a while when I can, that's another one. And then making policies that is very inclusive. So because when you're making those policies, it helps you to plan, and then you put it in your budget that this is needs to be put in place to accommodate a certain person, and all that, and then assistive technology as well.
Okay.
Some of us need to have some certain assistive devices to be able to function at our best. So getting all these assistive devices is not very easy to come by. It's very expensive. And then imagine if we were working in the same place and we're earning the same salary and my cost of living is very high. It's a burden for me. And when I have to bear this burden alone, I won't actually maximize my potentials because I'll be limited. I have to go through the hustle of doing these things alone because nobody's helping. So imagine if the organization in itself, provides some of these things. It might not really, at least, help in doing that. It might not really be full cost, or even the government helping the organizations as well, providing grants for them to, do some things that will create a reasonable accommodations for PWDs. And, doing that, and then as well, maybe giving incentives, like something to encourage them to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you so much for your wonderful responses so far. They have been very insightful
Thank
and
you.
it's an eye opener to some of the difficulties that people with a different kind of ability get to face in our world today, even in Nigeria. So earlier, Offset, in case you don't know, she's a fashion designer, as she mentioned it.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people with disabilities like you or someone with other kind of disabilities. How are you able to learn this skill? And also, how accessible can other people with disabilities learn skills that are maybe yours or different from yours?
Okay, talking about access, right?
Mhm.
Okay. For me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy doing most of the things I do every day. But like I said, my own disability and then being able to get assistive device, I should actually function better because I have an assistive device with my
Okay.
prosthetic leg.
Okay.
And without this prosthetic leg, I won't really do much because I need my hands to work. And imagine if my hands I'm using them to hold my crutches. I won't really do much. So assistive device is a lot. It goes a long way in helping persons with disability cope with some of these challenges as well. And then as having the assistive device and then the environment, yes, having that, first of all, you're able to manage your own self, your body, then you cannot fit in the society. Now, after I've been able to get my own assistive device that will help me, maybe for a blind person that needs some kind of gadget to
Like
be able
a
to,
braille,
not really braille,
yes.
it's old fashioned.
Okay.
They have technologies that they can help them to navigate. I know a friend of mine, she functions better with iPhones. I think some of iPhones have some of these things she need.
Nice.
That she can write, interpret, and speak back to voice back or something, and voice what they want.
Yes.
So it's those technology. Nobody's really, most of these blind people actually even use Braille. But they have these technologies that help them. And then some deaf people need hearing impairment. And there's these devices too that help them. Not all, depend on the level.
Yes.
Okay. And then and a person with albinism having to low vision, and all that. So now, these things, like when you know some of the challenges these people face, you will now know how to accommodate them. And then what I need is not really what another person need. Okay. So, but when if most organizations are sending out their applications form and they are putting captions where they are trying to capture these needs, like, okay, are you a person with disability? What are the reasonable accommodation you need? When you're doing that, you're helping, you're trying to fit me in, and you're trying to make provision, reasonable accommodations for me. Like by the time you know, okay, I'm a wheelchair user, you will check your structures, are they really accessible? And then if you know, okay, I'm a deaf person, do you have sign language interpreter? Have you built the capacity of your staff to be able to communicate well with this person? So that I won't be there and I won't know how to, fit in. I need to communicate to my colleague. And I did my colleague don't understand what my sign. Do you understand? All these things is so when you detail these things, you know who you're bringing in, and you know if you have what it takes to keep this person to function better. So this person won't feel like a body. You get, because if the environment is accessible for me, of course I will do better. I won't have to struggle. But whereby I'm even struggling to fit in, how would I now deliver? You get, so these things are important. Being able to put those structures in place first. And how do you do that? You have to, first of all, know what they need. So you won't give me what I don't need. As a person, as an amputee.
So just to cut in there, maybe you can emphasize a bit more on when you can talk about maximizing potential. Because the issue here now is you've mentioned that some of the requirements are a bit expensive.
Yes.
And so an employer might be thinking only from a business perspective, not from just being a humanist and thinking about. So what ways can we sort of also, as additional ways to convince employers that at the end of the day, when you do these things, you are actually also maximizing your own profits, because when you help a person deliver their best, you get more profits as well. So are there more arguments to be made or incentives to offer or to tell them about that? Let them know that you don't need to be looking at just costs. You can also look at the benefits.
I think this is where government comes in, right? Because imagine if governments have this tax incentives for these people, like there'd be something for them for accommodating these people, or even providing the grants you get for them to restructure and put some of these things. I think government and these private sectors need to work hand in hand. But until government see this as a priority, as an investment, because imagine the number of persons with disability that are being marginalized, and these people have what to contribute. They have a lot to offer in helping the economic of this nation to grow. And then imagine if you provide what they need for them to function at their best, we'll grow together. But if these things are not, they need it as a priority, something to invest in, they will still be left behind and they will keep causing nuisance and be begging on the streets. There are a lot of intelligent PWDs to amaze you what they can do if given a chance to. But whereby you just see them as a charity case, they won't really do much. But when you approach it as an investment, as a right, human right, a lot of people will be carried along. Okay, so government needs to work with private sectors, at least providing tax incentives or even rewarding them publicly. Okay, this is people are doing, like set example, like, by the time you reward them, they get more, maybe work with them, maybe provide some partner with them, give them some contract, something that they will benefit as well. Okay, for the fact that you have these persons with disability in this thing, let's do this with you, let's work together, build their capacity. Government can build the capacity of these people, and then civil service SOS, civil society, and OPD too, Organization of Persons with Disability too, can as well come in. Like, partner with these people, like provide technical support. And then also provide build their capacity on inclusion. And the types of disability and how to go around so that you won't behave awkward around me, or I don't need your pity. I don't need your pity. No persons with disability actually need your pity, and they don't need your charity. Provide for them to fend for themselves. It's better. Exactly, give opportunities that they'll be able to be economically empowered. I don't have to depend on you, because dependence comes with pity, and all that. But whereby my capacity is built, my confidence is built, and all that. And
I just want to add to your arguments, which makes a lot of sense. Which is, as around 2023, the UN says about 1.3 billion people have some form of disability.
Yes.
So imagine deciding as a whole that let's just focus on the rest. You are excluding 1.3 billion
people that have a lot to
60% of the world population.
Exactly, that have a lot to contribute to the growth of the economy. And
I think I just want to add this aspect as well. It's just that while you are looking at, within that 1.3 billion people, there are fashion designers like yourself.
Exactly.
There are people who are geniuses and all of that. But I also just want to mention that even though a person with disability is not a genius, they are not the smartest, or the humanity is something that we all have, that nobody should have to prove themselves that I can code more than other persons who don't have disabilities before you now decide that let us treat you like a human being. So I think that's also there as well, just to balance it, so that people don't think, this person with disability must prove that they're, so I think that's.
But I feel like everyone have one form of talent that makes them unique, that only them can offer. Until you look into that, you will know. Okay.
You need the opportunity to do that.
Exactly. You need the opportunity to know, there's something I can do well, and you are struggling with it. So, but when persons with disabilities are given that opportunity, them to even discover themselves and know, what to give. And be good at it, build their careers and all that, know the line. Because sometimes people, you need discovery before you to know what you can do well, and then do at your best. So, but if the opportunity is not even given to you, you're struggling, how would you even, ask yourself, what can I even offer? When you're already struggling with everything seems to work against you.
Indeed.
Yeah, we'd like to say Nigeria is actually trying with a lot of, recently, there have been a lot of inclusive policies, a lot of inclusive events and conferences that have been
Really?
held. Yes, we have the one from NCC recently, which the executive secretary for people that are blind was saying that blind people were not included in this, so they have to ensure that they are included, which of course we know that it will be looked into. But in Ireland, especially also be specific, Northern Ireland, there was a program that have been implemented, and it's an employment related kind of where the people with disabilities are included in the economy, ensuring that they are not dependable. They are given skills, they are given trainings, and they are also placed on internship opportunities where they can further learn on this, have hands-on experience, so that they can be inculcated into the society, making them better human beings, better people with no dependence on their relations and the rest. So I'd like to ask, what lessons can Nigeria learn from other countries like Ireland, like other Nordic countries, like other Asian countries too, like China, like all of the other countries? How can they learn from these ones and implement them in our own country, so that people living with disabilities can be better and would not be dependent on persons coming to help them when they can also help themselves?
Okay, I feel like I said, when the government sees this as an investment, or even private sector sees this as an investment, then that's business mindset. You now know what to do. But most times, like, it's still, like, you talked about about inclusion. I can tell you that a lot of organizations are still doing this with charity model. They're still using charity model, and most times they will think, okay, the fact that I've created ramps, I've made it accessible. It's not. I can tell you that we have a long way to go when it comes to inclusion. It's all about, it's still formality. Because even the government itself that signed the act has not even, prioritized these things. Like, we're still struggling with budgets as a commission. We have a commission, we're still struggling with budget and all that. And then, okay, until we see this as a need, something that needs to be done, we're not going nowhere. It's not just signing it, but what are you doing to see that this art is implemented? After implementation, we now can talk about reviews, because this art itself that have been signed 5 years ago by late President Buhari, is not even yet implemented. Like, I can tell you that if I want to grade it, I might say, okay, like 20%. Job, the 5% quarter is not even implemented. The inclusion is very weak. Like, I know many organizations have recruited and there's still no reasonable accommodations. You get. So these things, like, when the government take the lead, every private sector will follow. Evaluation and monitoring and evaluation is important. Like, we can say, okay, we don't even have the data, specific data of persons with disability. That's another important.
Recently, they said it was over 34 million persons.
There's no, like, it's still a guesswork. Yes. But if government can do that, you help the budget. So okay, this is the number of persons with disability in this country that have been marginalized, that have not unauthorized. So you need to capture this data. This number is important. And this number will help you in planning budget. A budget is important, because if okay, this is the number of people that we have just left, the number of resources, because there is a resource, you need to utilize them. You need to take advantage of what they need to offer, so that, okay, imagine my little way now. If, let's say, I am not, as a fashion designer, let's say I am not really taking care of anyone, but I'm taking care of myself. I release burden for my family. That's one. But I'm actually to have responsibility as well. So the fact that I can be able to do that independently, like do that for myself, is something. You don't have to, because by the time I start doing what I pay taxes, you get. So this is, in a way, you give and you get a return as well. So invest, you need to see that, approach it in a mindset of human rights, not charity model. Every organization, when they do that, you see that they will look at it as an investment. This is an investment I'm doing. And then incentives too, let there be something like for them to, like a reward. When you can publicly shame them, you can publicly reward them. This is it's important to motivate, because it's actually the cost of creating a reasonable accommodation is very high. It's really very high, so I must say. Because I, as a person, as an amputee, I know how to get how much my processes cost. And this is not like what I even need. So there should be incentives,
Indeed.
grants
Indeed.
to help. Government should see it as an investment.
All right.
Prioritize this number, this marginalized group, prioritize this number. There's a lot to ignore. And they have a lot to offer, like I said. It's not just about proving yourself. They actually have a lot to offer. There are lawyers, there are a lot of amazing talents. Until when you look into them, you might not even know.
All right. Fair enough.
you very
So we've run out of time now, but in just a few seconds, if you can help me, there's intersectionality of inclusion. So even where there's inclusion, usually within that, there's still sometimes exclusion. Is there any quick thing you can tell us about how women and girls, or the situation of things and how it could also improve when it comes to women and girls? Or is this something where it's one size fits all?
Okay, now the thing is, as a woman with disability, like you said, there's an intersection between disability and gender.
Yes.
So we often face double discrimination based on your gender and then based on your disability, which is a whole lot.
Yes.
Then even in women mainstream groups, we're even marginalized, we're even discriminated against.
Of course.
Like you have to prove yourself that okay, you have what it takes to take leadership roles. It's not like it's not participating. It's not just it's not all we are clamoring for. It's full participation. Like you don't have to discriminate against me based on my disability, based on what my capacity. You get so even in women group, women with disability are still marginalized based on the fact that they have disability. And then the fact that you're a woman is that you already we're still yet to get the equality, everybody being able to take a leadership role based on what
they can do,
not
their gender.
Not the gender.
Yeah.
With that, and with disability as well is not easy. The gender-based violence with women with disability is actually high, and because of the fact that you have to depend. There's some disability, like as a blind person, you still need to depend. There's still a lot of dependence. Not like you can't do a lot by yourself, but there's still, because of the nature of disability, you have to depend on your
there needs to
caregiver.
be even extra protection other than usual.
Yes.
Right.
Make sure that the monitoring, like these people, did they need anything? And then there's a platform for them to air out any and then if there's anything that's any violence against them, either be justice. Examples because when you set example, people learn from it.
All right. Thank you so much, Maryjane. It's been an enlightening one. Thanks so much for coming and helping us get more perspective on this matter. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, that's our round off this segment of the program. We've been speaking to Maryjane Okeke. She's a disability inclusion advocate. We'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll delve into our Verified Voices segment.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hude Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hude Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hude Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Culture connects us beyond borders. It's a bridge between traditions, creativity, and the future.
Culture is alive, shaping identities and communities every day.
Art tells stories of resilience and vision.
Artists blend tradition with innovation.
Cultural preservation creates sustainability and empowerment.
Culture evolves and adapts.
Music and dance unites communities through movement.
And right here, in the heart of our cities, artists and creators are keeping these cultures alive.
On Culture Cove, let's explore,
Celebrate
And preserve the arts and culture that define us. Welcome back. Now we're delving into our Verified Voices segment. We'll go straight to the first one there from International Labour Organization. It says 1 billion people live with disabilities, yet their rights to decent work is frequently denied. At the GDS 2025, the ILO called for coordinated efforts to ensure that people with disabilities have equal opportunities to thrive in their professional lives. Mokefe, what do you think about that? The Global Disability Summit.
It's awesome. We had talked about it earlier when we were discussing on the Northern Ireland inclusion when it comes to employment. So this is exactly what the Global Disability Summit was doing. And Northern Ireland have decided that, you know what, we are going to not just have it on paper or sign, but we're going to bring it to limelight. So if this was what was discussed, and if this has been implemented by Northern Ireland, we look forward to other countries also implementing it and ensuring that this over 1 billion people who exist that have disabilities contribute their, of course, excellent quota to the world's economy.
Indeed. Let's take the next one there from Resolve Foundation. Says more than half of disabled people who are in paid work report limitations to the amount or type of work they can do. The reasons for limited access to paid employment are varied, as shown in the chart. There you have at the top, proportion of working age disabled people and people caring for someone in their household in low to middle income families who report selected limitations to the paid work they can do. We have economically inactive for health reasons. Physical health limits kind of work. Physical health limits amounts of work. Mental health mental health metric are meant to accomplish in less work. We have others who report unable to work at all. And then we have unable to work as much as they might like. Well, varying reasons here. And I think for me, it just shows that even when persons with disabilities are willing and ready, obstacles come up and then show up to hinder them. Just like we were talking about with Maryjane.
Yes.
Sometimes you are ready to show what you can do, but it's just not that opportunity. I mean, you have there unable to work as much as they might like, which is to say they are not the ones imposing a limitation on themselves. It's external. And these are things we need to work on. So let's swiftly move now to the final news item. The final verified voice. This is also from the ILO, but particularly from the ILO's employment policies. It says everyone has a right to decent work. Women, persons with disabilities, refugees. In Kenya, employment services are getting more inclusive and accessible for all. Read how Kenya did it. And there you have Kenya's modernizing the NEA integrated movement system. Again, these are some of the what they call policies, conventions that we see happening that pushes the needle forward for inclusion. So Kenya, like the link says there, it's just about reading more what they're doing and ensuring that we can replicate this no matter how or how far or how well, depending on each specific situation.
Yeah,
So
Maryjane had mentioned that when you're a person with disability, you have to prove yourself. But then when you're a woman with disability, it's now a double kind of thing. Like you're in marginalized, like down part of it. So we have to come to a particular time in the world, have a particular mindset in the world where you don't judge people by how they appear. You judge them by the capacity that they have been able to show you. Like give them the opportunity to show that I can do this thing. I can make this dress. I can be a leader in such positions. I can do this. Do not judge them by how they appear. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, that's how we round off the program for today. I do hope it's been a great one for you as well. Do join us next time, 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. Hude Hour comes to you right here on Hude Networks. See you next time. Bye for now. I am Amadine Obewe.
And I'm Hannah Okeke. Have a lovely day.